This was the first scroll. This saw was a 107. I saw on red you could do 6 moves into this T case of CLL, and I also looked and saw that you could do the same 6 moves from a different angle and end up with a different case, but it's still not too great. So I looked on white and I saw you could do FR prime into this not too great LS case, or you could do FR prime from here, and it ends up giving a better case, but it's still not too great. So what I ended up going with was on orange. I saw you could do 6 moves into this easy CLL, but instead of doing that, if you do 6 moves into this EG1, I know an ALG for if you have RU2R prime into this EG1, and it would end up with a U2 AF. So the solution from here is just FR U prime R prime FR2 U prime R prime F prime RU R prime U2. This was the second scramble. This solves a 177. I saw on red you could do 5 moves into this CLL and you could cancel into it, and that's pretty much all I checked. So the solution from here was just doing F prime, R prime, U prime, R to insert the back corner, and then just finishing with U, lefty sledge, U prime. But I just locked up, so the time wasn't too great. This was the third scramble. This solve was a 1.08. I saw on orange you could do U2 R prime FR, and it ends up giving this really nice EG1 case, and you can cancel into it. And that's pretty much all I checked. So I just did the solution from here, but I just locked up a bit, so the time wasn't too great for how good the solution was. This was the fourth scramble. This was a 101. I saw on white you could either insert in 4 moves into this EG2 case, or you could do a different 4 moves, and then you can end up canceling into this EG2. But instead of doing that, I also looked on blue and saw you could do 3 moves into this LS case, which doesn't end up being too great. But I also saw on yellow you could do R2 F prime, and you end up with this really nice LS case. And instead of that, I also looked at R prime F prime RU R2 into this CLL case, but that's not too great. So I just did R2 F prime and then just finished with the LSL, getting a U2 AF. This is the fifth scramble. This was a 0.88. I saw on white you could do 4 moves into a J perm, and instead of that, I also looked on red and saw you could do RU R prime into this pretty good pi CLL case because it cancels into it. But instead of doing that, I know whenever you can cancel into that pi CLL case from this angle, you can hold this piece at the back and then do RUR prime and then just finish with this easy 6 mover. So the full solution from here is just doing U prime, RUR prime, and then just FR prime, F prime, R2 U prime, R prime, and then just no AUF.